and she just gets in a cab and just takes off. Now, technically, she didn't hit me, so it's not a hit and run, so they can't really do nothing to her, but she just takes off. I'm like, hey, yo, I'm ready to kill somebody. I'm trying to go pick up my bike, and I remember these junkies, and I only know they're junkies because it was like 3:30, and they were coming out of this bar to help, like, to see what happened. So it was like anybody drinking at 3:30 is either a wino, a junkie, or my best friend Big Play Dre, because he does that. I don't know what he is, but he fits into that category. But these was clearly junkies or winos. They picked up the bike for me and moved it to the curb. Alright, so boom, check it. Now, ain't that how every great story started out? Now, why would mine be any different? These are the Chronicles of Mike Murphy. Welcome back to another episode of the Chronicles of Mike Murphy with your narrator, comedian Mike Murphy. One of the best storytellers to ever do it, in my humble opinion. Now, if you like the channel, please hit that subscribe button. In the last episode, I talked about how I ended up buying the R1 off my man Black T, who taught me how to ride a motorcycle in the parking lot of my apartment complex. Now, in that episode, I told y'all in 1 year riding, not even 1 year, from May to October, I totaled not one, not two, but 3 different motorcycles. A Gixxer 750, then a Gixxer 600, then a CBR 929. So most people would say, oh, I didn't wreck 3 bikes. This is God telling me I don't need to be riding motorcycles. Nah, not me. I'm an adrenaline junkie. All I said was, oh, I had a 600, had a 750, had a 929, 1,000 gotta be what's next. So now I'm looking for 1,000s to buy because I'm ready. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, most people would have been like, nah, I'm good. I was like, nah, I need another one. So I reach out to my man Black T, like, bro, I know you're not riding that bike. Let me get that joint off you. I got cash. He's like, yo, how much you gonna give me for it? I'm like, how much you want? He like, I'll sell it to you if you can come up with 5,500. I'm like, I ain't gotta come up with that. I got that. He like, oh, for real? I'm like, yeah. Now, in the last episode, I told y'all that CBR that I bought for $4,500 was worth like 9,000 something. And I noticed because when I crashed it during the wheelies in the VA's hospital parking lot, the insurance cut me a check for like 93 or 9,400 or something like that. So I said, I got the bread. He said, bet. I give him the 5,500. I still got a couple bands left over to do something financially responsible with the money. Although I didn't do that, I had it. The bike wasn't in his name. I remember that because he's a street dude and he put it in his mom's name. We meet at the notary. We exchange everything. I give her the bread. Now I own the bike. I'm happy. Now that's in the end of 2008. I didn't rode that bike for 2 years without any problems. I'm getting so good on the bike. I'm doing $150, $160, splitting the cars, going down the center line. I'm doing all that. I'm with my club. We really out there riding like that. Like when you join a club like I joined, Maximalist Sport Bike Riders, you tend to adopt the habits of the people in the club. So this club was known for particularly doing dangerous and high speed rides in groups. So we'd be at a bike night or some motorcycle function, and we'd be like, yo, we about to take a run to the airport or out Robinson or wherever. Y'all want to roll? Dudes would be like, nah, bro, y'all be doing too much, man. I ain't riding like that tonight. I'm chilling. Because they know when we get out there, we opening that joint up, pause, and we getting busy. So being that I was in a group of people that did that, I eventually started doing that and got good at it. Now I feel like, oh, I got all the crashes out of my system. I couldn't have been more wrong. They say there's 2 kind of riders. There's riders who went down, and then there's riders who haven't went down yet. I think there's a third kind of rider, which is me. A rider who has went down, oh, and I plan on going down 2-3 more times because I don't learn my lesson. I'm always pushing the envelope to get better at what I'm doing. But I think that's a part of it. You can't succeed unless you fail. And in this case, you can't succeed unless you fall, which I've done several times because I totaled 3 bikes. So I bought a 1,000. I got the bike. I told you I'm riding. Everything's going good. Now, April 2010, I happened to meet this girl on Facebook. We going back and forth. Conversation is good. Haven't met her in person yet. One day I'm at work, and I work right down the street from her house. She says, yo, I'm making dinner. I know you at work. Can you stop by, and I'll make you a plate to go? My heart is like, oh my God, are you serious? She's like, yeah, I got you. I'm like, oh, she's a winner already. When I go to the crib and I see her for the first time, the intrusive thought I have in my head is, oh, I love her. I didn't say it, but that's how I felt. And I ain't no person that's like, oh, it's love at first sight. I had never felt like that about anybody I had ever met in my life. The moment I laid eyes on her, I was like, she's the one. She ended up not being the one, but that's how I felt at the time. I got the food. Man, I was head over heels for that shorty. And I'm going to tell you right now, that is a red flag. That is the biggest mistake a man could do in a relationship. Fellas, if you like the woman more than she likes you, especially by a considerable amount, it's not going to work. The only way for the relationship to work is for her to like you more. Now, you got to still like her too. You still got to love her, whatever, but she just got to like you more. Because otherwise, they get turned off eventually. Now, I know there's going to be someone out there like, no, I know one person, and shut up. Shut your ass up. I don't care about that little small group of people. I'm talking about the vast majority. The woman got to like the man more. That's not here nor there. Let's get back on subject. I liked her more, so I should have knew it wasn't going to work out. Fast forward a couple months, maybe like 2 months, she hits me like, yo, what you doing? I'm like, I'm at work. Why? What's going on? She's like, I got some bad news for you. I want to be like, well, please wait till I get off to tell me because I got like 6 more hours on my shift. What are you doing? She's like, we got to break up. My heart is broke. For what? Why we got to break up, babe? She's like, I slept with she thought it was my best friend. She's like, I slept with your best friend. I'm like, time out. What? I'm like, you slept with who? She's like, I slept with so-and-so. I'm like, oh, that wasn't my best friend, but we were very close, like brothers. I'm like, how could you do that to me? Like, she was like, it just happened one time. Then I'm like, one time you cheated on me? She's like, no, I ain't cheated on you. I'm like, then what are you talking about? She's like, nah, I slept with him like 2 years before I even met you. I'm like, oh. Now, it's still bad, but it's not as bad because Pittsburgh is a small city. We got like 350,000, people. The whole county, maybe 1 million, but it's still a small city. So, and my man was putting up numbers. So, it wasn't going to be a lot of shorties that I met that didn't come into some type of contact with him. So I was able to look past that, especially if my sucker ass loved her so much. I was definitely not giving her up for that. I'm like, nah, he didn't crack a bunch of joints. I can't be not messing with you because of that. So she laughed or whatever. She's like, you sure? I'm like, nah, I care about you. That's in the past. We ain't doing all that. Some corny shit. You know what I mean? She's like, all right, cool. We stay together. Now, the next thing I'm going to tell you leads me to believe that when she told me that first thing, she was already trying to get out the relationship, but I didn't go for it. So it didn't work. So now she got to come up with something else. So she hits me one day. I'm at the gym. She's like, yo, I can't do this. We only been talking for a couple of months and it's too much drama. And I asked you to not tell anybody that we talked. I'm like, hey, who you talking to like that? Like, you ashamed to be with me? Don't tell nobody we talk. She's like, no, it ain't that. I'm just a private person. I don't want everybody in my business. And yet somehow still somebody inboxed me and said, Mike is only with you because you light-skinned with big titties. Now, that wasn't the case back then, and I should have just said that. But even if it was, so what? I got a preference. You fit the preference. That's why I like you. What's the issue? But my sucker ass was like, no, I like you for other reasons. Don't leave me. I like you because of this and that. And I date all kinds of other women. Dark skin, light skin, brown skin, all some sucker shit. I should have just been like, all right, well then dip then. But I didn't. I don't know why. I was just so gone off her that I was begging her not to leave. You know what I mean? And this was on a Thursday. And she was like, I don't know, Mike. Like, I don't like people. I was like, no, listen, time out. Who told you that? She wouldn't tell me who told me. I'm like, I bet. I'm going to find out. She's like, Mike, just drop it. I was like, nah, I'm not dropping it. I'm finding out. I'm not playing these games. Like, nah, niggas ain't going to be trying to hate on me. I ain't with this shit. I ended up finding out who it was. And her realizing how the extent that I went to find out who it was really made her be like, no, it's over with. So I'm like, nah, listen, you can't do that. Da-da-da. Still begging again, like Keith Sweat. I'm like, look, can we just talk tomorrow when you get off work, sit down, have dinner, and just go over everything and see what's up? Because I really want to be with you. I think we got a good future. All this corny shit, right? She's like, all right, we could do that. We'll have dinner tomorrow at my house. Come over, and we'll see what's up. I'm like, all right, bet. Next day comes. That's my day off from work, Friday. So I'm just out riding my motorcycle, the R1. I'm on that joint riding around. I notice it starts getting later. I got to go get my daughter from daycare because it's about, it's getting late. But I got to take the bike home, get the car, go pick her up. And by the time I do all that, it should be time for me to head back to Girlie's house for dinner and to talk. My daughter was like 1 at the time. As I'm coming down Center Ave in the Hill District, I'm riding on the right side of the cars. It's not really a lane. It's big enough for a motorcycle to fit, but not cars. I'm riding down the right side of the lane, so I'm waiting traffic. And when I get to the intersection, the light is turning yellow, so I'm going through it. The lady on the right-hand side of me is jumping the light. She thinks her light's about to turn green, so she takes off as I'm going through the intersection. She barely misses me, but I swerve. And now when I swerve, I'm going into the oncoming traffic. Now it's stopped, but if I don't do something, I'm going to go head-on collision with a parked car. So I slam on the brakes. The bike flips me over the handlebars. I land all on my face. I got a helmet on, land on my face mask, my helmet, my shoulder, roll up. I got twisted, mangled, right? I jump up, and I guess it looked so crazy to everybody watching that they thought I should have been dead. So when I jump up and take my helmet off, like, yo, what the fuck is wrong with you, shorty? She's out the car like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I remember she was in a yellow cab. And I was like, what the fuck is you doing? You don't see me? She was like, the light was about to turn green. I'm like, about to turn green? Bitch. And she just gets in the cab and just takes off. Now, technically, she didn't hit me, so it's not a hit and run. So they can't really do nothing to her. But she just takes off. I'm like, hey, yo, I'm ready to kill somebody. I'm trying to go pick up my bike, and I remember these junkies. And I only know they're junkies because it was like 3:30, and they were coming out of this bar to help, like, to see what happened. So it was like anybody drinking at 3:30 is either a wino, a junkie, or my best friend Big Play Dre, because he does that. I don't know what he is, but he fits into that category. But these was clearly junkies or winos. They picked up the bike for me and moved it to the curb. I'm trying to get on it and leave, and this officer who's getting off of work was coming down in his personal car. He sees me. When he gets out the car, I'm like, oh, I know him. He rides motorcycles. This is my guy. I'm like, oh, what's up? He's like, yo, you cool? I'm like, nah, man, a lady, da-da-da. Tell the story. He's like, all right, just take a minute. I'm like, nah, bro, I got to go get my daughter. He's like, yo, just calm down. I'm all, he's like, yo, just calm down, bro. He's like, listen, just take a deep breath, relax. You could dip. You ain't in trouble. I just want you to gather yourself before you take off on the bike. I'm like, bet. I sit down on a bus stop bench, and I'm like, I'm trying to collect myself. Now the adrenaline is starting to subdue. And now I start to feel the pain in my neck. And I'm like, damn, I remember I had this maroon 3-button Ralph Lauren polo shirt. And I wear my shit buttoned all the way up, all three to the neck. People think I look crazy. That's just my style. I remember pulling the collar back and looking down and seeing the bone sticking out, my collarbone sticking out of the skin. I was like, oh. And you know how a kid get jacked up and they don't cry until they see blood, or somebody says, oh my God, are you okay? Then they start crying. That's how I wanted to cry when I saw that bone, like, oh, this is not okay. The officer comes over, Officer McClain, my man, and he's about to retire. Salute to him. He put in a lot of, good work in them years, man. He's an honorable dude. He comes over like, you cool? I'm like, nah, yo, look. He's like, oh, I got to call the ambulance. I'm like, please. He's like, I'm going to move your bike and put it in that parking lot right there. I'm like, good luck. So he jumps on the bike, rides it to the parking lot, comes back, calls 911. Ambulance comes. And I had already found someone to get my daughter for me while I was waiting for the ambulance. But the only thing on my mind was I got to get in touch with my girlfriend and let her know I'm not standing her up because I got to save this relationship. Like, I'm painting this picture for you because I want y'all to know how much I really love this girl and was like almost willing to do anything to salvage this relationship. I'm texting her, I'm calling her. She's not texting back. She's not picking up. And I'm like, oh, she's probably still at work. So when I get to the hospital, I'm laid up. They're like, yo, you need surgery. I'm like, duh. Shit is sticking out of my neck. She's like, but we can't do it today. I'm like, time out. What are you talking about? Like, when are you going to do it? She's like, you got to call in on Monday and set up an appointment. It'll most likely be next week. I'm like, yo, what? What am I supposed to do? There's a bone is sticking out. She's like, we're going to give you a sling. Just take it easy. Don't do nothing crazy. Call on Monday. They'll sketch you up with a date. I'm like, why aren't y'all doing it today? They're like, we got more important surgeries that are before you that are a priority. I'm like what? They're like brain surgery, heart surgery. I'm thinking, no. Nigga, do y'all have those surgeries, or are you just naming surgeries more important? Because I don't think you got a brain and a heart surgery in the same day. Like, and this one dude, like, what are y'all talking about, man? Fix my shit. They're like, sir, we're going to let you go. You got a ride? I'm like, bro, this is crazy. And Shorty still never called me back at all. They released me to my house. I go home. I'm on big pain medicine. I'm popping them joints like a Pez dispenser. Like 11 o'clock comes around. Shorty finally calls me. I'm like, yo, what the fuck is doing? What you doing? Like, I know you got my messages. I told you I broke my collarbone. Like, we supposed to sit down and talk. Like, I need you here. Like, I'm pathetic now. I'm hurt. My heart is broke. My collar's broke. I'm like, I need you here. Like, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? She's like, I'm so sorry. I had a long day. My day was rough. Me and my girl, she came to my house. We drinking wine. Soon as she leaves, I'm going to come over there. I'm like, all right, man, how much longer you think? She's like, I don't know. Maybe an hour. I'm like, yo, don't play with me, man. She's like, I won't, babe. I'll be there. Everything's going to be cool. Now, I don't know if she's the greatest manipulator ever or that I was just so optimistic that we were going to be together that I was just believing what she was saying. But I'm going to tell you right now, nothing she was saying was true. I mean, she was drinking wine with her friend, but her coming over after that, nah. And this is how I found out. About 12:30 comes, I hit her like, yo, it's been an hour. Where you at? She's like, oh, I'm sorry. We decided to step out to this bar and get a couple drinks. I'm like, nah, you bugging out. See, this is what I'm talking about. Like, I need you here. And you talking about getting drinks is more important. How much bad could your day been compared to mine? I need you here with me. She's like, I'm so sorry. I'm talking to her. I think she said something like her dude is cheating on her. Something trying to make me shut up. Like, nigga, your shit ain't worse than this. I was like, man, so you not coming? She's like, nah, I am coming as soon as we leave here. I'm like, well, they close at 2. She's like, all right. I'm like, yo, you better not play, man. I swear to God, I got this bad feeling. She's like, Mike, I'm not. I promise I'll be there. Everything's going to be all right. I'm going to come take care of you. We're going to talk. It's going to be cool. Is it cool if I stay the night there with you? Because when I get over there, I'm not going to want to drive back home. I'm like, you can stay here anytime you want. She's like, all right, cool. 2 o'clock comes around. I said, I'm going to give it a couple minutes to see what she does. I probably waited like 10 or 15 minutes. So at 2:03, I call her and she don't answer. I text her, yo, where the fuck are you at? She texts back, sorry, my girl wanted to go to the Red Door, which is an after hours. I promise you I'm coming after this. I'm like, nah, see, this is what I'm talking about. Now I'm turning into Twitter fingers. I'm going crazy. Bang, I'm pissed now. Red Door is on the Hill District. It's an after hours. And it used to be right next door to a place called AC Deuces, which was legendary. I don't even think AC Deuces is open no more. But they were right next to each other, so I knew where it was at. I said, fuck that, I'm going. She don't want to show up, I'm going to go see her. This is how I knew something was wrong in my head. I needed probably some psychiatric treatment from the VA hospital, but I foregone that, and I just out here in the world functioning like a nutcase. I throw on some sweatpants, a white t-shirt, got my sling on, with the bones still popped out, and the hospital socks that got the grippy bottoms and some slides. I throw that stuff on. It's like 2:30 in the morning now. I jump in the whip. I drive to the Red Door. When I show up, I have the t-shirt on, but my arm in the sling is under the t-shirt. I don't have it on the outside. I don't know why. This arm is out, but this arm is in. When I walk up to the bouncer, he's like, yo, it's $5 to get in. Whatever it was, whatever the cost was. I don't want somebody like, no, I remember it used to be 10. I don't know what it was. He was trying to charge me, and I was like, look, I don't got no money. I'm not trying to come in. I'm just trying to find my girl, get her, and leave. She said she was here. She needed me to pick her up. I spun him on that, right? He like, yo, what's going on with your shit? You got a gun? I'm like, oh, nah, bro, look. Pull it back. He's like, oh, man, what's wrong with you? I'm like, yeah, I broke my collarbone on a bike earlier. Yeah, I mean, I'm in a sling. He was like, yo, you should be at home laying down or something. I'm like, yeah, nah, but I got to get her. He like, yo, 5 minutes. Don't have me come look for you. I'm like, what am I going to do in there like this? He's like, yeah, I guess you got a point. Go ahead, bro. I go into the Red Door with a sling on, hospital socks, sweatpants, and a white t-shirt. Yo, saying her name, looking for her, right? Yo, you see so-and-so? Yo, you know, light-skinned joint short? I'm describing her to cats. They looking at me like I'm bugging because I was bugging. That's how gone I was off Shorty, and I thought she was with a dude playing with my emotions. Now, in hindsight, if I did catch her with a dude, what was I going to do? I'm the one-hand man, you know what I'm saying? I can't do nothing with that. So I don't see her in there, I leave. I say, you know what? I'm going to her house. She lived right up the street. I drive to her house. She lived in a duplex, right? Her mom and dad owned the building. It was a unit upstairs, a unit downstairs, and then a basement unit. But the unit, her mom's unit, her unit, the front doors are side by side. It's maybe 3 o'clock in the morning. Do-do-do-do-do. I'm banging on the door. Surprised I ain't wake her parents up. But the unk comes out from the basement. He's probably down there getting high or something, or drinking. I don't know what he was doing up. But he comes out like, yo, what's going on? I'm like, oh, what up, OG? Yo, I'm looking for so-and-so. He like, oh, man, I don't think she here. Her car ain't in the lot. I'm like, oh, you know where she went? He like, nah, what's up with you? I broke my arm in a, same story. He like, oh, you should probably be home laying down. I'm like, yeah, I know. They keep telling me that, but I got to get in touch with her. He like, yeah, I don't know. I'll tell you came by. I was like, nah, you ain't got to do that. Nah, you ain't got to do that, bro. Just, yeah, I'll see you around, OG. I leave. I go to the crib. I'm tight. What am I going to do now? I done ran out of my options. I don't know where she's really at. I'm hurt, heart broke, collar broke. I go to lay down. Maybe 4 o'clock comes around. My phone rings. It's her. I'm like, hello? She's like, what the fuck is you doing? You was at my house banging on the door at 3 o'clock in the morning, nigga. What's the fuck? My uncle said you came by. I'm like, nah, it wasn't me. I hit her with the shaggy. Nah, it wasn't me. She's like, you was a liar. He told me you had a sling on. Da-da-da. I'm like, oh, man, listen, bro. Where the fuck is you at? You out with your friend and shit. Now I'm trying to guilt you. She's like, you a lame ass nigga. That's why I ain't with you now. It's over. I don't want nothing to do with you. Don't call me no more. Don't text. It's over. I'm moved on. We're done. I'm not coming to see you feel better or whatever. You're probably not even telling the truth about that. Bye. Bang. I ain't gonna lie. I might have cried. I can't remember, but I know that I was so hurt. And I felt like at my lowest, like I can't function. I can't even wash myself up. And the girl that I'm trying to salvage is like, nah, I'm out. I said, fuck it, man. So fast forward 1 week from the accident, my surgery is scheduled on a Friday. They tell me you're going to be in the hospital for 3 days. You're going to get out Sunday. I'm like, bet. They do the surgery. They put a plate, 11 screws and 11 bolts on my collar. Even to this day, I still got it. The whole length of my collarbone got a plate with all the screws and shit in it. They do the surgery, all that. Everything goes well. Sunday comes. My man Bevy's supposed to pick me up from the hospital. I tell him what time to be there. Of course, he's not on time. So I get another ride. I go home. I lay down. He ends up showing up to the crib. Yo, bro, I was at the hospital. Where was you at? I'm like, nigga, you was late. I called you a bunch of times. Oh, my bad, bro. What you need? I'm like, I need to go to the pharmacy and get my medicine. All right, come on, I'll take you. We get to the pharmacy. I'm leaning all the way back in the seat because I'm trying to rest. So when we pull up to the pharmacy, I don't know if this is God's way of torturing me or showing me what's good for me and what's bad for me. Because when we pull up into the parking lot, I hear Bevy say, damn, how you been, little mama? Or something like that. Miss Lady, something like that. She's like, oh, I've been good. How you been? I've been thinking about you. I missed you a little bit. And I hear the voice. It's her. How we pulled up right next to her car at this pharmacy? She don't even live by this pharmacy. Why was she there? And he's talking to her now. I never told him that was my girlfriend because I didn't want him to know that I was with the chick that he cracked before. So out of shame, I never mentioned to him like, yeah, that's wifey. I never said that. So when he's talking to her, he's thinking, oh, this is just an old joint I cracked. I ain't seen you in a minute. Probably thinking like, I'm trying to slide back on that thing, right? So they're talking. She's like, yeah, I missed you. He's like, yeah, take my number down. She's like, all right, come here. What's yours? I'm going to give you mine too. And she leans in on the car like to talk to him and sees me. And she's like, oh, hey, Mike. I'm like, man, fuck out of here. Yo, pull off, dog. He's like, oh, y'all know each other? I'm like, man, fuck her, man. Da-da-da. She's like, I hope everything is all right with you. I'm like, nah, man, go get the fuck out of here, bro. He's like, yo, what's up? I was like, yo, that's my girlfriend, dog. Like, he was like, oh, bro. I'm like, nah, she already told me it's cool, man. Just leave. I'm hurt, dog. I don't want to show no emotion, but I'm sick that she just was telling this dude I missed you. I was thinking about you here. Take my number down. We even broke up a week. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. So she was like, all right, whatever, Mike. I hope you feel better. I guess she wasn't lying. It is broke. That's what she said to me. I was like, what? I was ready to snap. I'm looking at my man. He looking at me like, yo, these hoes ain't shit. I'm like, hey, dog, just go get my medicine, nigga. I'm tight, dog. I'm in the car. Sulking is the proper word. I am livid, but I'm hurt. He comes out with the medicine. He's like, man, fuck her. You'll find better, bro. Da-da-da. That shit wasn't even all that. I'm telling you, it was all that. He was trying to make me feel good, but it was definitely fire. So the bike ended up not being total, which I thought it was, because after I wrecked it, I never really looked at it again because the officer moved it in the parking lot for me and I just never saw it. It ended up not being messed up at all. So I got the bike back or whatever. I was happy about that. Stopped talking to Shorty. Like 3 months later, while I'm still recovering from the accident, someone steals the bike from my house. I'm like, you gotta be shitting me, right? So a year later, I run into my man Lamar, my man LA, and he tells me he knows who stole my bike the day he stole it, but didn't tell me because he knew what I was going to do to dude. I'm like, yo, why wouldn't you tell me? He's like, nah, I knew what you was going to do to homie, and trust me, it wasn't worth it over a bike. I'm like, man, what was I going to do to him? He like, bro, do I really got to say it? I know how you get down. I know what you was going to do over a bike. It wasn't worth it, so I ain't tell you. I'm like, damn, but I knew dude stole it because he stole my homegirl Quayla's bike too, a couple months before mine. Him and his boy used to ride around in a U-Haul, and just they seen a sports bike out on the street, they would just, the two of them would lift it up and put it in the back of the U-Haul and just steal it. Like they were just going around like each night doing that. They weren't taking like Harleys or nothing because those are way too heavy, but a sport bike, 350, 400 pounds, something like that. Two people could pick that up, you know what I'm saying? So they were just stealing bikes. So I knew it was true. LA wasn't lying to me about it. I never seen a bike again. But that was one of my favorite bikes ever. It had a Two Brothers Racing dual exhaust under the seat. It was all black. It had custom airbrush skulls and angels all over. It was official. I was in love with this bike. And even to this day, it's my top 3 favorite bikes of all time that I ever had. And this nigga stole it. And that's how I lost my 4th bike in 3 years of riding, but at least I didn't total it. And me and that girl, we ended up making up and ended up kind of talking a little bit at a later point in life. And we got along a lot better. She apologized, and we cool to this day, man. But yeah, it was wild, man. But hey, listen, if you enjoy these stories, I'm gonna keep doing them regardless. But if you enjoy it, please subscribe to the channel, share the video, like, comment, whatever you can to help build this channel. I greatly appreciate it because your contribution is the only reason why I'm able to grow and make something out of what I'm doing, my talent to make the world happy and laugh and all that. And this is just another avenue to build my audience. So eventually I can come to your city and tell jokes on stage, which I love the most out of all this kind of entertainment. So again, your contribution is greatly appreciated. If you find any joy in these videos, please subscribe, like, comment, send to a friend, tell a friend, and tell a friend. Man, look, until next time, man, these are the Chronicles of Mike Murphy with your narrator, comedian Mike Murphy.